FC24 is here, and it is so important that you guys get the right camera and controller settings in order to win games. If you get these wrong, you're in serious trouble, so I'm here to save the day. If you want the cheapest FC24 coins to get ahead of the competition, check out MMOEXP by clicking the link down below and use code JambooUK for 5% off. So I am deep into Foot Draft now. I've played probably like 40 games of this game. There's some things in the settings that are different to what they were in FIFA and stuff like that. So I'm here to try and help you guys out as well as I can. If any of you have questions, leave them down below in the comments and I'll get back to as many of you as possible. I'll be showing my camera settings as well as the controller ones, and hopefully this helps you guys. I do this video every year and you guys seem to enjoy it and get some use out of it. So that is the main thing. So, we go to customize control first of all. I do play alternate. I know some of you have been interested in that in the past. That is from the PES days. If any of you are the same, do let me know. I know I'll have some of you in here who is using that square button to shoot from PES in the early days. I'd be interested to know. But anyway, so we obviously have the game settings here, and it does come under gameplay. So, the first thing you want to do, if you're online, you play competitive anyway. I think by default it starts on custom. Just turn that to competitive and it's going to sort of disable the things that we don't have to worry about anyway. So firstly, shot assistance, assisted. Of course, if you play anything other than this, you are a psychopath. You need to be getting that on assisted. Timed finishing seems to make a decent enough difference this year, so far at least, for me to justify having it on. I think, especially this early in the game, try and get used to it. It's one of those things where if you can get used to greening your shots, you're just going to be much more efficient in front of goal, and it's going to do you well in the long term. You know, if you spend FC24 practicing greening and get used to that, then when FC25 rolls around in a year's time, you know, you're going to be ahead of the competition. So I recommend having it on, but if you're really uncomfortable with it, it's not the worst thing in the world to have it off. I'm giving you guys EAFC points every day for the next month. Just subscribe and comment down below for a chance to win. Passing now. So, through pass assistance, we do have that on semi. It's either that or manual, and honestly, for the most part in FIFA / FC24, because I'll be honest, it's the same game. You know, you want as much assistance as possible. People always throw the shade, you know, like these pro players, they say that, oh, they're awful because they're using assisted everything. You try using fully manual and try and just get one win, and you're going to struggle. You need assistance in FIFA. Same with the lobbed through pass. We have assisted on the ground pass. This is an interesting one, right? So by default, you have assisted on the crossing. I've been playing around with it, and I think the assisted crossing is actually awful. Like, it's picking out crosses in positions that I don't want it to. It's going to the wrong player. I think the sweet spot here is actually having this on semi. Especially for those of you guys that remember my corners from last year, I will be bringing a tutorial tomorrow. However, you know, for stuff like that, you need to be able to pick sort of at least where you want it to go. So I think that's super important. I would recommend semi for that. And that is, at least in my opinion, the most efficient way of doing the crossing. We have the lob assistance on assisted, pass receiver lock late. So basically what this is, we all know FIFA, you know, it can be pretty delayed. So what this is, like, say you're running through, you know, with your cam and your striker's making a run, and you press to pass to your striker, and the cam sort of doesn't release the ball straight away and starts stuttering. In that scenario, if by the time he's finished stuttering and that pass is no longer on, you're still going to have time to actually adjust the pass to go to someone else. Whereas if you have this on animation start, for example, as soon as you've pressed a pass, it is going that way no matter what. So I feel like it's good practice to have that on late. You know, you can adjust things as they happen and just have a lot more control over the situation. Precision pass sensitivity. This is a new feature, the precision passing. So I've played around with this, and at least so far, I'm finding that normal is sort of doing the job for me. High goes a little bit all over the place, but that might be because I'm just not used to it yet. Normal just seems to be, you know, the sort of sweet spot for where I've got the most control over it whilst having a little bit of assistance. That seems to be working well for me. We have defending now, clearance assistance. I would go directional. If you go classic and just press the clear button, it can go absolutely anywhere. Like, your player can turn around and swing it out for a corner, all sorts of random stuff. So, in my opinion, have that on directional. This is an interesting one. I believe when you load up the game, it's going to put you on advanced defending. I highly recommend going back to tactical defending. Advanced, it feels way too hard to defend, and I know a lot of you guys are going to be struggling with the defending as is. I recommend tactical. So we then have pass block assistance. You always want that on. You know, where possible, if you can have an AI dive in and make some sort of interception for you, you're always going to take that option. Auto switching, air balls and loose balls. It's been that for as long as I can remember. Auto switching, move assistance. I've always had this on low, and I think most pro players do have it either low or none. However, the world champion last year did have it on high, so ultimately that has to come down to a bit of personal preference. But I feel like for most players, low is, you know, the best middle ground for that. Right stick switching, make sure that is on classic. You don't want that on anything else, especially not adaptive, which may well be the worst switching setting or setting in general that I've ever seen. So go classic, player relative. I've played around with this as well. This is a new feature, the sensitivity, and I have gone with 6 so far. This may be subject to change, but I feel like it's doing the job. You know, I'm able to sort of switch where I want it to go, and I'm not really having too many issues. Next player switching on classic, player lock on. I do recommend that. They're super OP this year. You know, the passing feels a little bit weird at times. It's not too bad or anything, but it can feel a little bit off. But with the player lock-in, same as last year, you know, your passes are just more accurate when you're locked onto a player. Super weird. Icon switching, I think it's absolutely useless, so I would turn it off. This is a new thing, orbit dribbling. So you're able to sort of move around the ball without actually touching it, sort of like body feints and stuff like that. No harm having it on. You know, you have to hold both triggers down in order to activate it anyway, so it's not something that you're going to do by mistake. Save assistance, irrelevant. Analog sprint, I would actually recommend turning this off. I used to actually use it back in the day, FIFA 20, I would sort of run at half sprints, but I feel like these days, you know, if you're sprinting, you just want to be going full pelt. So you can turn that off, and then trigger effect and the vibration feedback, absolutely get them off. Useless settings that actually hinder you. So my current camera angle, it is co-op with a custom setting of 20 height and 0 zoom. It's giving me the whole view of the pitch. I still think these through balls are stupidly overpowered, so that is what I would recommend to be able to see the whole of the pitch. But guys, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.